Good morning. What a great day in Vegas. We'll take anything under 90 degrees, right? I will. I brought the Northern California weather. So I'm Brian Martin. I'm going to talk with you about some radical improvements in technology that are really allowing businesses of all sizes to delight their customers and drive customer experience. But before I get there, I want to actually talk to you. I listened to the fireside chat. I thought it was very interesting. The cloud is a little over 10 years old, as we know it in modern vernacular. And I know everyone's fighting about who invented it, but it has truly disrupted everything. And I'm convinced when we look back on the era we live in, we will think of the cloud as this generation's internal combustion engine. It is fundamentally altering everything that we do, how we run our businesses, how you run your businesses, and what our customers need from us. In the consumer space, I saw a cartoon the other day. Cracked me up. Replaced my favorite Dilbert cartoon. It was a mother and her probably 9-year-old son sitting in a field. The son, of course, is on the iPhone. And the mom says, "Son, do you know what clouds are made of?" And without looking up, he says, "Of course, they're made of music files." Right? So in the consumer world, we have completely changed everything about how we think about it. And I think the next generation will be very scary. In the business world, the same thing is underway. We're transforming our businesses. And whether, I wake up and watch CNBC every morning, whether it's Workday, IBM, pick your favorite cloud vendor, they're showing these server farms. Servers are gone. Ping pong tables are going in. Picnic tables are going in. Everything has been shipped off to the cloud. But when I think about us in the communications industry, I see a lot of companies that have simply taken what used to be on-prem, moved it to the cloud, but their business is still running the same way. They're not doing anything different. And that's why I put this question up here, because I think the channel has a huge role to play to flag businesses that are not digitally transforming themselves with their communications. 8x8 went through this. It is not an easy thing to do. It is very hard to do. You should be thinking about how you run your business, how you make decisions coming out of your communications, and that really is what's going in. If you're not doing that, then you're probably on this chart. I was at a Google security forum about a month ago, and this was a survey that didn't surprise me, but Google asked a couple hundred CIOs what was holding their organization back from wider adoption of the cloud. And the CIOs got to pick as many categories as they wanted. Number one concern, security, right? And I hear that when I talk to prospects. In fact, if you look at the top 4 categories, data loss, right? We had the Facebook scandal, regulatory, legal, it's all in a giant bucket, which is around security, compliance, fear of the cloud. And I don't think it's a surprise. But I think it's ironic because those are the exact reasons businesses should be sending their communications to the cloud. If for no other reason, then you're outsourcing to an expert who focuses full-time on doing nothing but securing your cloud communications. I employ more than 1,300 people globally. Their 24/7 job is to worry about information security and making those communications secure. Very few IT teams in the world can say that. Most IT teams are very small. They think about communications part of the time. That's not their main job. And so the reality of information security in the cloud and communications in the cloud is it's actually really, really good. And whether you're under Privacy Shield, if you've been doing business in Europe, HIPAA, if you're in North America in the medical profession, PCI if you're doing e-commerce, FISMA if you're selling to government, right? It goes on and on. We have all these compliance frameworks that we have to deal with. Oh, there's a new one, GDPR. Ooh, it's a 4-letter word. It will be a 4-letter word. It goes into place. It's the new European privacy framework. It goes into place at the end of May. Again, I've had a team looking at GDPR for 2 years, a task force. Very few IT teams have even started to take it up. So it's yet another reason to shift that workload, those communications to the cloud to get that compliance. What I'm seeing, though, is there's a change in our industry, and enterprises are kind of driving this off of that security fear, and they're actually shrinking the number of clouds that they deploy, right? There's a lot of logos up here. Most of us have a lot of these logos deployed. But more and more, we're starting to see in the communications industry, enterprises starting to shrink down because fewer clouds means fewer things to worry about, fewer things to audit, fewer vendors to take to task when you're trying to secure and do that framework to drive that security. But there's another reason you should really be, as an enterprise, thinking about consolidating your cloud platforms. And it goes back to why I'm here, what I'm going to talk about, which is customer experience and customer delight. So I pulled some Dimension data. 81% of companies now are thinking about their competitive differentiation coming from the customer's experience. Delighting customers is more important than brand, more important than advertising. And the reason is very simple, right? The way we buy things has fundamentally changed. When I needed to get a late night dinner, what did I do? I went on Yelp. Find a place where someone tells me the food is good. And it's always good. If Yelp says it's good, it's going to be good. Frankly, I used Yelp to pick a construction company for 8x8's new headquarters. I'd never done that before. It was very helpful in narrowing our short list. My last surgeon came from Yelp, and she was excellent. And I went in knowing she would be excellent because I had the collective wisdom of everyone around telling me she was excellent. In the business world, the way we buy software and IT and technology has also changed. It is fundamentally different. I can go on Siftery or 100 sites like Siftery. I can go on G2 Crowd or 1,000 sites like G2 Crowd that tell me what my fellow CIOs are buying, how it works, what their experience is. I no longer have to wait for the salesperson to come. I'm making those decisions off of other people's experiences. And that's why customer experience becomes so vital. The burden of customer experience falls on our poor CIO. So yet another thing to worry about. You can see 4 out of 5 CIOs believe they're the primary, their responsibility is to drive that customer experience. It's absolutely correct because the technology they deploy is what is going to determine customer delight. It is a huge burden out there. So let's look at, again, how we got to where we are. Wave 1 of communications in the enterprise, everything was on-prem. It worked fine. It was in a box. It sat in the closet. A few years later, I bought a new box. Everything did like it did. About 10 years ago, companies like mine started moving those boxes to the cloud, right? That point solution moved to the cloud, did the exact same thing. And there's nothing wrong with these point solutions. We became a billion-dollar company deploying these point solutions in the cloud. But when you think about my thesis, which is I also need to delight customers, these point solutions don't allow us to do that. And there's a very simple reason. It's 6 words in the English language, which is, let me get back to you. I have a problem. I need this answer. When is this going to be available? And our poor customer support person has to say, I don't know. Let me get back to you. That does not drive customer delight. That will not work in the competitive battlefield where we are trying to drive customer experience. And it's not that these customer service agents are bad people. They are some of the most courageous, inspirational, dedicated professionals I have ever met. I always enjoy listening to how they work with customers. But they're only as good as the data we provide them. They're only as good as the technology that they have to solve customer inquiries and solve those interactions. And that's where I believe we're entering a very important moment in the communications industry. And we call it Wave 3, where I now go to a single platform of engagement. All of those point solutions, all of that functionality on a single platform that sits across all of my CRM systems, all my back office systems, the collective knowledge of the entire corporation at the disposal of the communications function. And by the way, since everyone's on a single platform, I can pull the right subject matter experts into any interaction on any channel and delight that customer. Tell that customer, I don't know the answer to your question, but let's bring someone into this interaction and let's solve your problem. More and more of these interactions are happening in chat. Chat is it's been a fascinating topic in the R&D that I've been doing the last 5 years. Chat creates its own silos, right? So Slack came along, and then all the internet giants are out trying to kill Slack, whether it's Hangouts or Cisco Spark or Teams or whatever it is, and every one of those tools are being adopted in a shadow IT mode within the organization by teams. That CIO no longer has control over that environment. And so we began thinking about these chat environments as yet another endpoint. We thought of it as, just like I'm choosing my soft phone or my hard phone or whatever it is, I'm choosing a chat client. And so the single platform of engagement extends to chat. It's vital that you think of chat as a way to interact with these customers and that you tie it all together. And so interoperability has been something that we have been really, really focused on. Even though the industry at large is still trying to win the war, we believe the battle is actually by tying those things together. And so no longer are we just talking about efficiencies and productivity improvements. By delighting customers, I'm getting those good reviews. I'm actually driving new revenue. I'm running my business faster. And my total cost of ownership actually still goes down from the point solutions because administering one cloud is a lot easier and cheaper than administering a bunch of clouds. And so I really believe we are going to see this move to a single system of engagement for communications. We call it our X series, and the way it works is an interaction comes into the organization. It can come in anywhere. It could come into the front desk, the switchboard, the main number. It could be a chat to a random employee. And the ability to route that interaction across channels, across the organization, along with all the context of this customer, from the CRM, from the back office. Why has he or she interacted with us before? What was it about? What was the resolution? Why do we think this person is interacting with us now? It's where AI comes in onto this platform. And we've done a ton of R&D, a ton of investment, continue to invest heavily in AI. That's going to become part of the algorithm here for communications. I present all of that to the agent. If the agent still can't resolve the issue, the agent can bring in any subject matter expert across the organization in real time into the live channel and solve the customer problem, delight the customer. Now, all of these interactions throw off what? They throw off a ton of data. I already told you some of it, transactional data. Who's trying to contact us? How frequently? For how long? What was the resolution, right? All of that data feeds in to that AI platform. But actually, what happened in the interaction? The speech analytics, what was said? What's the word cloud? What was chatted about? Even if it's in a different language. What is the historical pattern? What are the trends? What are the changes that we're seeing? All of that data feeds, it is the currency that feeds customer delight. And so I believe data will become the new IT currency. 8x8 has transformed the way it runs itself. I told you it's not easy. It's really not easy. And I think, if you think back to Wave 2, all of you, I think, started at some point cloud practices within your channel organizations. You brought in cloud experts, said we're going to start a small team here that's just going to focus on cloud services, right? And that's become now very common. I would urge you going forward, if you haven't already, and I know some of you have, to start a data practice, because data is going to be the lifeblood of this engagement platform. It is the lifeblood that enables us to make decisions so that we can delight our customers, so that we can drive customer experience. We are literally collecting, I think, more than 100 million events each and every day on behalf of our customers and turning around and making that available to them. Customers are going to need a lot of help. There's a lot of money to be made helping these customers understand how to make data-driven decisions and become a data-driven company. So I'm going to show you a video. I want to show you how this actually works. And one of the things in this video, these are not made-up screenshots. These are actual screenshots that we took out of 8x8's global customer support. These are the analytics we look at when a customer contacts us. You'll see we are a G Suite shop. We are a Salesforce.com shop. You will see the data we're pulling from those CRM systems and those environments in order to enrich the interaction. And you will see the analytics we generate to drive improvement. I want to make sure that next interaction with the customer whether it's that customer or any customer, is that much better, is that much shorter, and it drives customer delight. So let's go ahead to the video. If my friends in the back can do that.
Engagement is a series of moments of connection. Of context. And collaboration. Moments of insight. And improvement. These moments define the experience, and the experience is everything.
All right, thank you. Hopefully you can see why I think of us now less as a software company. I think of us more as a data company. And I think the future of this industry will be driven by that data. I told you we're in the process of transforming ourselves. We've gone through that. We now run the company off of the data that we generate from our communications. It is amazing how different your decisions are, and what we would have done in the past and how we would have driven improvement with those interactions to what we do today. So again, I can't stress enough, I really fundamentally believe this Wave 3 is going to change the way we think about our communications and our practice. So I want to just wrap up here with what we learned. If we can go back to my slides. We learned that clouds are not made of small water droplets. They are actually made up of music files, and because of that, they are probably here to stay for a very, very long time. I'm postulating to you that customer experience is the new battlefield. It is the competitive differentiator that will drive business. It will generate new business. It is a reason that your clients in the channel will want to move to the cloud and move to these platforms of engagement. The data that you generate is vital. It is the lifeblood. It's always been about the data, but we've never had access to it. It's always been in those little silos in those different systems. Now we've got it all in a single platform in a big data environment, and we can actually learn from it. And so because of that, again, I will stress my one message to you, just like the message was, you should move to cloud in Wave 2. The message here in Wave 3 is please start a data practice. I would love to talk with all of you about how we're doing it at 8x8, so please find me. They're not inexpensive people to hire, these data scientists, and especially in San Francisco where I am, they are a commodity, but you need to do it for your channel business. It will make a huge difference, and you will see the results, and your clients will see the results. So I'm always curious to hear feedback. You can reach me directly. You can connect with me through any of those channels. I hope you learned something from the talk today. I hope you'll think about starting a data practice, and I hope you'll think about what I call Wave 3. Appreciate your attendance. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the week.